Welcome back to the channel, and today I wanted to show you what you could expect from ANA's business class on the 787-9. Please follow me on Instagram at BrandonJohnson10K for behind the scenes looks at content that I will be reviewing in the future. So here's a look at business class on ANA's 787-9. So I'm in the mini cabin here. So there's 3 rows. So when you walk on the plane, you turn to the right, you have 3 rows of a much smaller cabin in the business class, which is a little more private, a little more intimate there. So you did have a bottle of water waiting out for you along with the business class menu. As we take a closer look at the seat, here you've got, I don't know what that thing does, but you've got the safety card behind there, USB port, headphone jack, universal power outlet, a light, and the IFE remote. So at your seat you had slippers, you've got the headphones, a pillow, blanket, mattress cover, and this amenity bag. I don't know that it's really an amenity bag. I'll show you the contents of that shortly. But just a ton of stuff at the seat. Not a lot of storage at the seat, but ANA sure knows how to give you a lot of things waiting at your seat in business class. You can see getting in the seat a little bit narrow there. As you can see, that space is narrow. There are the seat controls. So right here you've got the tray table. So you pull that out. Very sturdy tray table. And once I can finally get that in, now you've got a coat hook up to the left of the in-flight entertainment screen. Then you got the footwell, which is a good footwell. I mean, it's not really narrow, place to put your shoes below that. So actually the seat isn't bad at all to sleep in. Yes, it's not going to be your the room business class by ANA, but very comfortable to sleep in. This was NH856 from Jakarta to Haneda, Tokyo. So this flight was roughly 6 hours, and it leaves pretty late time that the flight leaves from Jakarta, which does affect your meal service, which I'll talk about here shortly. So here's a look, and I used the darkness there. I didn't get to do the seat recline until after takeoff, so the lights were out, but I'm just going to tell you that this seat is pretty comfortable to sleep in. And that business cabin was fairly empty anyway, the mini cabin. So take a look at the bedding here. Good pillow, nice squishy pillow. Good blanket too. Now, this aircraft does not have individual air vents, so it can get a little hot. It did get a little hot with this blanket on, as ANA is known to keep the cabin a little hot. There's a look at the mattress pad there. Here's a look at the headphones. Decent headphones. And there's the contents of this little amenity bag here that you get. Again, I wouldn't call this an amenity kit. You just got some necessities: eye mask, earplugs, a mask, toothbrush, toothpaste. So just some essential things there. There were no pre-departure beverages served on this flight, unfortunately. You did get a look at the slippers, and I'll show you there's a cooling towel that they handed out that was right after takeoff. So I'll leave you with the takeoff, and I'll be back shortly. Okay, let's take a look at the bathroom here. So, as per usual, nothing too special about the bathroom here. You don't have a window. Space-wise, decent space-wise in the bathroom. So there you do have some toiletry products if you need them, but the nice thing is you do actually have the bidet function. So that is always a nice thing when it comes to ANA and Japan Airlines, as you do have that for extra cleanliness, I'll say. Now, I did mention a little bit before that this flight takes off late from Jakarta. So what makes it odd, I guess, is the time difference that it's taking off in Tokyo. They actually don't really serve you the main meal service until 2 hours before landing. So you want to maybe want to make sure that you ate in a lounge before that. You can, I think, order really the anytime things at any time, but the meal service, which this is considered a breakfast flight, doesn't start until 2 hours before landing. So get due to being past midnight in Tokyo when the flight leaves Jakarta. So that's an interesting little nuance, but I'll leave you with the menu and I'll be back to show you what I had. Okay, so I did start off things with the amuse-bouche. That was pretty good in kabosu to drink. Love kabosu juice. Could have drank the whole supply that they had. And here we've got some ramen, which was excellent. So this is something that I did have at any time for the meal. And there was what I had there for breakfast here. So I've got some mixed vegetables, some beef, rice, got some shrimp, braised duck, and some fruits as well. So I thought the food was very good, very flavorful. Japanese pickles there and miso soup. So yeah, food wise, you really can't go wrong on ANA, especially if you like Japanese food. And I had a chamomile tea during my flight as well. Let's take a look at the internet offer. So they do have internet access. Essentially, you've got three options when it comes to the internet. You'll see once this thing loads up, it did take a little bit to load up. So yeah, you can either purchase access there. So you've got a 30-minute plan, 3-hour plan, and a full flight plan. Full flight plan for $21.95, essentially $22. I don't know. Given the time of the flight, I don't know that it's worth that, but that's up to you to decide. So take a look here through the in-flight entertainment screen, which you'll see is not nearly as inviting as the in-flight entertainment screen on the room business class. So I'll be back shortly with my final thoughts. welcome back. So I wanted to give you my final thoughts on this flight overall. Service was wonderful, just like I remembered in the past. Now, yeah, I know you've seen the room review that I did on ANA's new business class, but this flight actually took place before that flight. I just wanted to get the room out there first. But yeah, previous to this flight, it's been a while since I've flown ANA, but yes, I do like that the flight attendants they have a way of being attentive without being overbearing, which is a good skill. I thought the food was great. I was finally reunited with Kabosu juice, thankfully, and reunited, and it felt so good. It really did. At the seat, not much storage, but it is very comfortable for sleeping. And the IFE, honestly, it's a bit generic in the way that you select the entertainment. It's not really that inviting. I found the selection just okay. Not the greatest selection, but just okay. But not too bad, because this flight, you're probably going to want to sleep most of the flight anyway, as it's essentially a red-eye flight into Tokyo from Jakarta. So, as always, I do appreciate you watching. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and share this with a friend. Thank you.